Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. So I responded poorly to a comment I got yesterday, and I must apologize because it was not appropriate. Somebody said, Lewis, slightly off topic, but would love to hear your thoughts about Mercedes coming out with a $1,200 per year subscription to unlock the true power of your car. It's ridiculous. My response, around 2 in the morning, was, what the F? You must be kidding. I just took a melatonin and falling asleep, so I'm not Googling this now, but there's no way this is real. You have to be memeing. This is exaggerated. Fake news. And I must indeed apologize. This is not a meme. This is not a prank. This is not fake news. This is 2020. Welcome to our modern dystopia. This is from The Drive. Mercedes makes better performance a $1,200 subscription in its electric vehicles. The $1,200 yearly fee increases horsepower and torque while dropping 0 to 60 times for all Mercedes EQ electric models. Now, you are not paying $1,200 up front once, nor are you paying $1,200 a year to get a better battery, better motors, better or anything like that. You're paying extra money so that the car that you already purchased with the equipment already in it is able to do what it's already spec'd to be able to do. Welcome to 2022, my friend. Now, I know some people are going to say Tesla does the same thing. There are a few points to contrast here. As much as I rag on Tesla on this channel, and as much as they often deserve it, it's considerably different. The first thing that we have to consider here is that the car that we're talking about, the Mercedes EQS 450, if you take a look, this car has 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds and an MSRP of over $100,000. A Tesla Model 3 has a faster 0 to 60 of 5.8 seconds, and it retails for $46,990. So right off the bat, the Tesla is faster, even though it is less than half the price. And it is considerably faster than the Mercedes, even with the subscription upgrade, if you get the performance upgrade, for an additional $16,000. More importantly, Tesla will allow you on the Model 3 long range and the Model 3 to pay $2,000 upfront to unlock a faster mode. Whether it's just giving you more power or tuning the PID loop a little bit differently, I'm not exactly sure. The point here is that is a one-time payment that you make so that you have that feature. You give Tesla $2,000, you then have access to that for the entire period that you own the vehicle. Mercedes is saying, if you want our car to be as fast as a car that costs half as much money, you need to not only give us $1,200 a month, you need to give us this $1,200 a month every single year. And before people start saying, I know you get different build quality with a Mercedes than a Tesla. Anybody who's tried to close the door in a Mercedes E350 where you go clink, and in a Tesla Model 3 where it's like trying to do flies with 200 pounds where you're like, ugh, knows that this build quality in these two automobiles is considerably different. But my point still stands. It's twice as much money, and they can't allow it to have the same acceleration as a car that costs half as much money unless you pay them not once, but indefinitely as long as you own the vehicle. Which begs many questions. What happens if that subscription is discontinued? What happens if the company goes out of business? Because, I don't know, people decide to stop buying vehicles with bullshit subscription services. You could have paid for that subscription for 10 years. You could have paid $12,000 over the course of the time that you own the vehicle. And if Mercedes goes out of business, you're stuck hacking your car to get it to actually have what you bought it with. And this is something that people are getting sick and tired of. It is one thing to pay to have a better motor, to have a better battery, to have a better system. It is another thing altogether to pay monthly for something that you already paid for when you bought the car. So it says in The Drive, Mercedes is now taking subscription fees to an entirely new and maddening level. For Mercedes EQ electric vehicles, customers will have to pay $1,200 plus tax yearly subscription to unlock the full performance potential of their cars. If you head to Mercedes' online store, you will find an acceleration increase subscription service for all EQ models. According to Mercedes, the yearly fee increases the maximum horsepower and torque of the car while also increasing overall performance. Subscription fees are sort of understandable for certain cloud-based options, as those options require consistent monthly operating costs. However, the extra power and performance this option provides is something the car is already capable of. What's unclear is how popular these sorts of subscription options will be. Will customers really pay the equivalent of an extra monthly payment every year just to shave 1 second off their 0 to 60? Who knows? Maybe Mercedes proves doubters wrong and EQ customers gladly pay up for the extra performance. But these sort of subscription services just feel like gross and dishonest ways for brands to squeeze even more money out of their customers. You know what some people are going to say? They're going to say the people that care about additional 1 second under 0 to 60 on average are going to be the people that are putting the pedal to the floor at the light, people that are going to the track, and people that are abusing the car on the highway. They may be slightly more likely to blow an inverter or blow a motor coil or something like that while they're using that particular car. So this is to pay for the increase in warranty claims that they're going to get during that period. if you were to make that argument, then why not just do what Tesla does, which is if you want the car to go away faster than it already does, when it's already fast than almost every car in its price range, you have to give us $2,000 as a one-time fee. Why do you need it to be a recurring subscription? Why must it be something where if somebody wants to use this car in 30 years, which I sincerely doubt is going to happen with this, but if somebody wants to use this car in 30 years, they still have to pay $1,200 a month to Mercedes? Further, is this something where it's $1,200 a month, or is this something where they can raise the cost over time with inflation to where in 20 or 30 years, you're paying $4,000 or $5,000 per year in order to get a car that is faster than what it was when it was advertised? Where and when does it end? I'll be honest with you. One of my friends, who is also my personal trader, is a bit of a Mercedes fan, and one of my employees bought a Cadillac. I know, I should probably start paying people a little bit closer to Apple Store salaries so that happens less often. But in all seriousness, he bought a Cadillac, and it's a pretty damn nice car. And I rode around in the car for a little bit, and I started to get car fever. I shouldn't get car fever. I have a car. I'm going to keep my car for at the very least the next 10 years, but I got car fever a little bit. So I go up to Mercedes' website, and I start to, browse through everything, and oh my God, the way they nickel and dime you on this site, it was such a great way to ensure that I never go back to it. So you want different zones for your climate control and stuff like that. That costs more money. You want certain colors, that's $3,200. Okay, the wheels, at least they give you the option to change without killing you there. You want a heated steering wheel or heated rear seats in a car that costs over $120,000, you have to give them $1,500. Again, even Tesla, a company that's happy to nickel and dime you, will give you heated seats in a Model 3 long range that cost $48,000 in May of 2021, $58,000 or so now. Here, you have to pay $1,580 to get that additional. And it just keeps going. If you want, for every little feature here, they just nickel and dime the crap out of you for all of this stuff on a car that's $125,000. So again, I would understand if you're selling a car for $20,000 and then you have to add on all these different little features and everything like that. When you have a car that's already $130,000, you can't just give me the acceleration that would make it as fast as a $60,000 Model 3 without nickel and diming me with a monthly subscription. You have to make the heated rear seats a $1,500 option on what is supposed to be a flagship vehicle. I got off that site within 3 minutes. It was just absolutely disgusting the way that it's designed. It's kind of like you are a rag. You're a wet rag, and they're just doing this, and the water is your money. And they just do this to try to get as much out of you as humanly possible. So I was having a weak moment where I started to become a consumer, and I was, adding all these options and things on something that I have no intention of buying, but the longer I stay on this website, God knows what'll happen. And I left because I have no desire to get nickel and dime to this extent. I remember like 10 years ago looking at one of these sites, just thinking about what it would be like if I got a car, and it just didn't feel this way. It didn't feel like you got nickel and dime for every single thing on a normal vehicle, much less a car whose MSRP is $125,000. Again, look at this. Look at this. Not only is it $1,200, price is excluding tax. Price is excluding tax. If you want the car to be faster, pay us every month. It's one of those things where people will say the whole you will own nothing and be happy. And I genuinely don't believe that you will own nothing and be happy is one person rubbing their hands together and then everybody else saying, yes, sir, that is the path we will go, sir. But rather a very slow, over a long period of time, everybody independently coming to the conclusion that it's honestly much easier to make money if you just treat people like the wet rag and, one subscription service at a time, one let's take away your ability to repair it at a time, one restriction here, and just until you've gotten every last dime out of every last person. It's something that's going to continue unless we say no to it as a society. So I'm very curious to see how sales of this vehicle do. If people buy it and people pay for the subscription, would you ever pay for this? Personally, I would want to avoid buying a Mercedes just to avoid dealing with this. It's sad because, again, the build quality in some of their vehicles is not that bad. As I say, drive a Mercedes E350, drive a Tesla Model 3. Just try closing the door when you leave the car. How much force does the E350 take? How much force does the Model 3 take? They make cars with some decent build quality, but they're shooting themselves in the foot with this because there are a lot of people, here's the thing, that have the money to pay for cars like this. They have the money. They don't want to feel like a rag that's being wrung like this to get every last drop out of it. It just feels dirty and icky and ugh. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, hope you learned something. We'll see you all in the next video, which, I don't know. Actually, maybe I won't see you in the next video. Maybe you'll have to subscribe to see the next video. Maybe we'll make a subscription to this channel, $50 a year. What do you think? What do you think, Oreo? Think we make it a subscription, Mr. Clinton? You think they got to pay to see you? They got to pay to see you, Mr. Clinton. That's right. They got to pay every month. All right. See you next time. Bye now. I missed having cats in my lap. When I do a video now, I not only have one cat in my lap, I have two cats in my lap.